How is everybody? If this is the first time you have joined me, my name is Monique Nolly. I have been away for a while. I've been on a bit of a sabbatical. I've been on a sabbatical, and it's your first time joining me. I actually help women reach their next level within their career. I also help women reach their next level when it comes to just reaching their goals, when it comes to being with God and being mothers and just being holistically just a better person altogether. I also help the women be better and understand their worth, and young ladies understand their worth as young women and get closer to God. And as I stated, I've been on a bit of a sabbatical, but I am back. Hey, hi, pretty girl Alexandra. How are you doing? I just wanted to come on here. God placed it on my heart a couple of days ago to just come on here and say, do not allow the enemy's plans to corrupt and harden your heart. That is something I have been going through. Recently, I've been going through something, and I've had to pray and not allow the enemy to harden my heart, and because that will steal what God has planned for you. Don't allow the enemy's plans to corrupt and harden your heart. The trials you have been through should only bring you closer to God and to better understand your calling on your life and understand your destiny. That's all it should do. If we allow the enemy to harden our hearts, it will only bring us and pull us further away from God, and that is not something that's not something that we want to do. We just can't allow it. We can't allow it to happen. We have to understand that God has a plan for us, but just as God has a plan for us, the enemy has a plan for us as well. The enemy is a counterfeit. So everything that God has planned, the enemy has a plan as well. And we have to keep that in mind. So everything that God has that is good, the enemy has it as well. And he's going to try to come in and steal it. So we have to make sure that we have an understanding of that, and we have that discernment to understand that and recognize that. And we fall victim to it. I fell victim to it. I fell victim to something that was completely corrupt and that was counterfeit. It happens to the best of us. Even if we think we know what is right and what is good, it can turn out to be completely counterfeit, and we have to ask for forgiveness because we are human and our fleshly desires. We can think that it's right and that it's what we want, and the enemy is very deceitful. But once we realize that it is not what is right, we can't allow our anger to corrupt our hearts. We have to forgive and say, okay, and move on from that. We can't allow the trials, again, to pull us from God, because if we allow our hearts to harden, all that will do is pull us away from God, and we can't allow that to happen. We have to believe, and we have to understand God already has a punishment for that particular person, and his punishment is far better than what we could ever think of. So us sitting up at night wondering and trying to plot and plan and thinking that whatever we have for their punishment, his punishment is far better and it's not for us to decide what that punishment is. It's us wasting our time. We can't waste our time trying to figure out what we should think that their punishment should be. That's not how it works. It's not for us to do. It's only for God to decide that. And it's a waste of our time. Every moment that we spend waiting and plotting and wanting for that person to pay for what they did to us is time wasted, and time that we spend away from doing what God put us on this earth to do. We cannot do that. It is a waste of our time. Time that is taken away from what he put us here to do. And we have to understand that. And it's not easy, but once we understand that and we say, okay, let it go, then we have to let it go. And that's one of the reasons I was in a sabbatical because I had to pray because of the situation that I've been going through. I had to do a lot of praying to get out of that situation. And again, it's not easy. It happens to the best of us. It takes a lot of prayer, a lot of readjustment, a lot of realizing, okay, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. We all make mistakes, no matter how. As long as we're here on this earth, we are being tested, and we are moving closer to God. We are, no matter how high up we think we are, we're being tested daily. No matter how much we have, and no matter what we have, we're going to be tested. We all have a hand that we're being dealt. It's just a different hand. It's just different. So whatever it is, we have to make sure that we pray to get through it, and we have to make sure that our level of discernment is what it needs to be in order for us to get through it. But whatever it is, once we realize that, we have made the mistake, or that we have come through it, we can't dwell on it, whatever it is. And I will tell my story once it's time to tell it. This is not the time to tell my story. This last year has been a lot for me. I've gone through a lot this last year. Right now is not the time to tell, but I will tell. I've gone through a lot this last year, physically as well as spiritually. A lot physically, and I'm not the only woman that has gone through what I've gone through physically. I've dealt with things such as fibroids, and I know I'm not the only one that has dealt with that. That is something that is very painful, that a lot of women that have had to go through and had to have them surgically removed. That right there alone takes a lot out of you physically. It takes a lot out of you spiritually as well as emotionally, because it deals with your hormones, and it takes a great deal out of you. So that is one thing that I've been so that on top of everything else that I have been going through has been a lot. So that is where I have been. I've been adjusting to life, dealing with that on top of other things. So, but even with that going on, you still have to realize that you can only depend on God to get you through all of that. And that is what I've been doing. So my sabbatical has just been me sitting back, praying, getting through the physical things of that, getting through the spiritual aspects of that, and making sure that not only am I getting myself through that, but I'm making sure that I'm getting my clients and everyone else that I'm helping with through that as well. So when I say that I help women get through things, I'm not saying that I help women get through things and I've never been through anything. In order to make sure that I am getting women and young ladies through things, whenever I go to someone, I want to make sure that they've been through it too, so they have a complete understanding. I don't want to go to someone and have that person try to get me through something and they have no idea what I'm talking about. It just doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm going through to someone and say, I've been divorced before. Say I'm going through a divorce or something, and they've never dealt with somebody that's crazy. I don't necessarily want to deal with somebody that hasn't dealt with somebody that's crazy. I want to make sure that that person has dealt with somebody that's crazy, so they can fully understand what it is that I'm going through. Because if they don't have a full understanding of what it is that I'm going through, they don't get it when I'm coming to them. They can't connect with me. That's just the type of person that I am. I want to make sure that they can connect me when I actually go to them and have a conversation with them. Otherwise, they have no idea. So with me, I'm the type of person, when my clients come to me, they know that I know what it is that they're going through. Whether it's something dealing with a relationship, whether it's something dealing with something physical that they've gone through, whether it's finances, I've gone through that. So when it comes to dealing with young ladies going through, trying to figure out who they are and understanding their worth and understanding who they are as a woman and understanding themselves, been through that. I have a daughter. I make sure that she's gone, that she's pulling her through that when she's going through that dark period, making sure that she understands who she is, been there, done that. You can find out more about me and what it is that I do at MoniqueNolly.com. Again, I help women reach their next level within their career as an entrepreneur, as an educator, whether you're in the classroom or outside of the classroom. I help you whether you want to make a passive income or whether you're ready to get out of the classroom altogether. I help women do that, whether it is something that they want to do, whether they want to open their own tutoring company. I help them do that, as well as I help them when it comes to being a single mother, especially when it comes to raising girls and understanding how do you date exactly as a single mother when you don't want your daughters to see you necessarily dating, because that can be a tricky situation, dating when you have girls. I help them with that as well. Been there, done that. You can find out more about that at MoniqueNolly.com. And again, I will talk to you soon. You can find more about me at MoniqueNolly.com. If you have any more questions, you can also DM me. And I will talk to you soon. Have a blessed one.